We hope you've had a lovely Christmas period. Who's enjoying some what the hell is the day, date, time? Anyone else stormed off during Monopoly? Perhaps you are yearning for some quiet alone time, some fresh air, or just 10 minutes sitting in the car before you face the next family social onslaught. If so, you're not alone. Hopefully, in the next hour or so, we can keep you company as you fill those lungs with some wonderful fresh air, escape from the craziness of home life for an hour or so. Or just jog, have a quiet jog, sit down. So relax, put the kettle on, and here we go.
I'm quite enjoying helping myself to lots of biscuits, Eddie, this Christmas period. I'm like, Terry's chocolate orange is a real weakness of mine. And I'm really strong until I have one segment, and then one turns into three, and then I'm like, it's like I've discovered a new food or something like that, and it's just the best tasting food ever. Then I turn into some kind of feral fox and just destroy the whole Terry's orange. It's not a good sight, and then I feel guilty.
Are you going to welcome everyone to the show and say it's episode 4?
I was going to do a pause, and then I was going to
start your next chocolate anecdote.
Yeah. I think I'm on my third Terry's chocolate orange, which is not.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting. But yeah, hi everybody, and welcome to episode 4, and it's a Christmas holiday tea and trails. This week's Brew with the coaches. We talk about injuries, know when to back off, know when to seek advice, and maybe making the call to keep on running. No long interview this week, but instead we'll share a few of your Tour De Helvellyn stories. I've had a lovely Christmas, Eddie, but yeah, how about you? I see you're rocking a lovely jumper there. I love it.
Thanks. I haven't taken it off since Christmas Day. It's kind of festive, but it's also, I think I can wear this for the next 3 months. It's a good jumper. I've got jumper on the top. I've got leggings on the bottom. I'm ready to go for my run, but I haven't gone yet because I did a big run yesterday, which meant I was out for a lot of the day. And so kids are still on holiday. So I don't then like to get up and go straight out again. Otherwise they start to question whether mum exists. So I did the ski drop-offs this morning, and then Bryn gets to go for a run. So it's not all just about Eddie and the bloody spine race. But yes, we had a lovely Christmas. It was manic, as anybody with children or family knows. 3 kids, but it was quiet, but not quiet, because you've got kids and they get so overexcited. But they're very good. They have skied every day.
Brilliant.
They had Christmas Day off, but apart from that, our Christmas is not really very restful. Everyone's up at 7 in their thermals having their breakfast ready. I mean, it is full on still for them. But they've not, I mean, we haven't had one that's so good. They do love it. So they're even every morning, I expect the littlest one to come downstairs and go, I can't, but it makes it's lovely. It's great that they love it, and they go up and they have a great time and they eat lots of sweets and they mess around with their
Do they protest about the presents being opened later on in the day, or are they? No,
they were so good. Yes, we had a lovely day at South Snow skiing. Sadly, we had a lot of rain. So we had a lot of snow the week before, and then the rain came to the Alps. And I mean the rain. It literally rained for 2 days solid, proper deluge. Oh, wow. I thought the river was going to flood into our house. It was pretty much flooded down the road because, of course, all the snow melted.
Yeah.
It washed all the snow away and just left ice everywhere, which is sad for anybody that's come on a ski holiday to a lower ski resort.
Oh, that is super sad, actually. Yeah, because I've spent a pretty penny to do the winter holiday.
A pretty penny to look at some grass. So there's been quite a lot of, it's been lovely. Lindy and Tucky loved it because there's been a lot of fresh runners on the trails, and they've been like, oh!
Love it.
But I mean, selfishly, it's been great for me because it's just meant I've been able to, I haven't been sad that I've not been skiing because I've been running around with Roger on my back. But also it's just opened up a little bit more trails. So I haven't had to hike around in the snow, and I've been able to do a little bit more running on actual trail. But yeah, the weather was so bad last week. I resorted to the treadmill a couple of times. I just couldn't be bothered with running on the ice. And like massive holes in the snow. So I actually did a couple of good sessions on the treadmill. There is still a little bit of speed in there. I did some one session I did just uphill, which was great. Obviously, that was fine. And then the other session I did flat and fast. And I was like, oh my God, I feel, this is great. I'm running some faster little efforts. And then every time I stopped after the effort to do the recovery bit, I was like, I was like, okay, so that's normally.
Do you jump off the treadmill? I'm curious how you do an interval session on the treadmill. Would you jump off the side or would you crank it down?
What I do is I make a plan of what I'm going to do in my head, and then I do it nearly all by heart rate on the treadmill, because then I'm not sort of, especially at the moment, I don't want to push any speed that the legs haven't got, because I would myself a speed to do. I'd be like, okay, right, I'm gonna do 6 minute mile, 10 by 3 minutes, 6 minute mile. My hamstrings would just then be destroyed for the next 2 weeks. So I've just been doing it on heart rate. And then what I do, so I push it up slowly to where I want it to go. So I let that come gradually rather than jumping it onto the speed. Then I hold that for however long I'm doing. So a 5 minute effort. Then I jump off after 5 minutes and I take the speed down while my feet are off the treadmill, and then I go back on again. If you were doing 6 by 5 minutes on the road, at the end of the 5 minutes, you'd probably walk a few steps or really slowly jog, and then you'd get back into the jog. So I try and copy that vibe, and then I jog. But what was really good was that my heart rate came down really quickly on all those efforts, and I always think that's a really good sign of fitness, is when my heart rate comes straight back down to 135 and I'm ready to go again within 30 seconds. Did mean I had a little bit less miles in my vert last week than I would have liked, but the key sessions were I did my last really long spine hike, and that was all good. I mean, I'm ready. Can it be tomorrow? I've got to that stage now. And yesterday I did my last, it's actually not my last 4 hour, but I've got 3 more 4 hours, and that was number 3. I've got 2 more to go. 1 more this weekend and then 1 next week. And I felt so good, Gary. I was like, you don't like to blow your own trumpet, but frankly, I've spent so many hours with Roger. There's a time when we need to have fully bonded in this relationship. And I had full kit. It's probably the first time I've had absolutely everything I'm going to take with me. I think the only thing I didn't have was the little bits of medical tape. That's nothing if that slows me down by 1 minute. I felt really good. I had a bit of a wobble that I wasn't hardly able to run at all with Roger on my back, but I was actually able to run quite a bit, even though when you look at the overall average pace, you're like, I ran for 10 miles with the backpack, and yet but every time there's an incline, I make myself walk, because I've got to walk those inclines, especially in the first 100 miles, because it's all about after Middleton, isn't it? I got to get to Middleton in the best shape I can to then leave Middleton to get this, to be able to still be moving. Can't get to Middleton having run a really good first half.
Unless you're a middle-aged man, then you're going to rinse yourself to Middleton and then cry for the rest of the week.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to still be able to move after Middleton. So I felt really good. Came home and I was like, Bryn, it doesn't feel like I've done very much at all. So that's great. Can run 20 miles and walk away from it having felt like I've just sort of been on a run. So I've got to a good place, and now I just need to not overthink, overdo. Look at Strava, look at Instagram, get scared that I'm going to be last.
I think that's especially more say for athletes who are uncoached. This point of time, they ask a lot of questions, they're second guessing themselves.
It's really, this is really important time to trust that, to build that self-belief. And I will not. And if I feel a bit anxious, I just say it to Bryn. I'm like, so-and-so's doing that. And this is the danger of social media. So, do you think I should? And it's like, build that self-belief inside you. It's because at the end of the day, when you're out there, nobody, it's only you. It's got to come from the gut, and that gut's got to totally believe. And I do. I totally believe the process I've been through. I could not have done anything else to what I've done. So I'm in a good place, and I'm enjoying now starting to freshen up a little bit. My feet were a little bit sore over the last 2 weeks where I've had to wear yak tracks a lot.
Okay.
So I was having a minor panic that my balls of my feet were a bit bruised from wearing the yak tracks for as and as. So, but that's gone now. So everything just I just need to calm down. I even, this is my commitment. I even took Roger for a Christmas Day prep. He came with us on our Christmas Day hike with the kids, and we walked spine pace up to the little hut with the kids, and they were like, "You're not gonna run a little bit more than this?" I was like, "It's gonna be so disappointed when it starts, and they're gonna be like, how far is she, Dad?" And he's gonna be like, "It's 10 miles," but it's been the whole day.
Oh, I love it. I love all the dedication. I love what I've seen you do. And there's a few people on my Strava feed and Facebook timeline who are doing the spine and the dedication. Like, I think it's just such a key part of the race. This key moment in time comes over Christmas. And I think a few people, is it the Arc is coming up soon too? Yeah. And it's a big time, and it's at a terrible time of the year for people wanting to chill out and stuff. But I know people who are going out on Boxing Day and doing like big days out, and I'm thinking, wow, that is
but it's so good to build that inner strength of like, I've made so many sacrifices and gone out when I haven't wanted to at this time of year. And also it's something that's going to keep, when I want to stop, I'm going to be like, I am not doing this again. I have to finish it because I never want to train like this.
I make those deals with my body every time I do a big race. I won't ask you to I won't do it again. Don't worry.
Anyway, what about the Thwaites Christmas?
My favorite gift was a curveball from my children. Some Crocs. I don't know. I'd never buy Crocs. It's not my kind of cup of tea. But they bought me some. They got me some Crocs slippers, which are just like Crocs but with fur inside them. So they indoor shit. Oh my goodness. And I looked at it and thought, it's not my cup of tea, but they've never been off my feet. So that is a success story. But I think from a running point of view, it probably is the polar opposite to yours. I've just been easy days, no structure at all, go with the flow, casting an eye forward to maybe a little bit of structure, which is, I'm not too sure if I'm ready for that yet. But
I think it's time, Gary. How many months has it been now where every week you've gone, just easy, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's not been. It must be like 8 weeks where it's been pretty chilled out running. But you've got to enjoy it. I'm not ready to push just yet, but it'll be interesting actually. See, next week I'll talk about this actually with what's coming up. But next week I'm going to introduce a bit of structure and see how the body and the mind react to that. Well, that'll tell me if I'm ready to go for it. But the highlight of the running was I mentioned it before about going down to Castelline Dean with some Sedgefield Harriers. There must have been about 8 or 9 of us there. Took Rex out too. He was a pain in the backside. It was a nightmare. But they all went up for a cup of tea and a scone afterwards. So that was pretty lovely. I went to the gym, which is the big news.
Breaking news. I'm amazed BBC News it's not flashed up on my phone. Breaking news.
And I visualised that there's a few things which I struggle with, which I have struggled with in my running. I'm not really doing strides, and I'm blaming little Rex for all of this. That it's not his fault. I could drop Rex off. We mentioned before you could go home and then go out again and do your strides. But I'm visualising it. I'll do the strides on the way back from the gym. Or go into the gym. So it'll be in that session. I won't have the dog. It'll be basic because I haven't got the dog, so I could fit that in. The only problem with that is
if I tried to do strides after I'd been to the gym, my legs would actually fall off.
Well, probably, yeah. I'll do them on the way. I'll do the strides on the way to the gym. But I've got this whole little routine worked out. This is kind of like dynamic activation before I get in the gym, and then it's all business at the gym. But yeah, I felt like it's such an alien environment for me, the gym. Yeah. So I think I will grow into it and I'll get more confident in that space. But the first day I had all these ambitions of, bench pressing, deadlifts with free weights. And I just basically sat on all the machines and kind of hid behind all that stuff.
Sit on the machines and just take photos.
Oh, no. I do not want What it did do, because I've got this ongoing knee issue, which bizarrely just after one gym session feels better to do, which is totally not connected whatsoever. But yeah, massive in my left side of my body. it's so much weaker than my right. And I'm not too sure if it is weaker or the pain level to do the exercise meant I didn't want to do that exercise. But yeah, leg curls and stuff like that, my left little knee wasn't happy. So wasn't really putting loads of weight on. I think that's it for a few weeks. I'm just going to get used to being in that space, build a weight up. But what I did do, like a massive testosterone fueled man, I was checking out some guy on I think it was like is it a lateral row machine? And I don't know, I just kind of thought, I'm stronger than him. Went on the machine after him. It turns out I wasn't stronger than him. Went to move the weight and the thing just wouldn't budge. So I had to like pretty much half it immediately. I didn't think I could be much more of a Garmin fanboy. And on the Garmin app, have you ever done this on the Garmin app where you can do like a strength workout? You can do like running workouts, interval sessions, but you can also do a strength workout. And because I want to maximize my time, when you put in all the exercises at the end of it, it has a picture of a human body and it color coordinates which muscles you're targeting. So again, I'm not really knowledgeable on this, but it was awesome just to look at this map of the body, and I'd work my shoulders too much maybe, so I could lose a shoulder exercise and then maybe one more on the abdominal. And yeah, it was just such a simple tool for someone like me who doesn't really know that much about lifting weights. This is the plan. Go to the gym 2 or 3 times a week. Maybe they do a kettlebell class, so maybe I'll do 1 kettlebell class and 2 strength workouts. But I think it's going to evolve. I've got all these workouts worked out, but I might just not enjoy that workout. So I'll do a different type of workout that targets the same muscle group. But yeah, I think that should be good. Aiming to be in and out in an hour. That's my target.
Oh, I aim to be in and out under an hour. Let's face it, if you can't get your work, I honestly believe that you should be able to do your strength in like 30 to 45 minutes if you're I always I try and put 2 exercises together, which are, so I'll do like, apart from my squats, because I like to really focus on doing my squats, but then the other stuff I'll do like a pull and a push. Pull with the arms, push with the legs, and I'll do like the set of the arms and the set of the legs. I don't actually need to rest. I don't use lots of machines per gym visit. I just keep it so that it's quicker as well. So I almost like set the whole thing up. And then I just look at people if they come near what I'm using. And then I bish bash. I literally, I cannot understand. Like, you will have noticed when you go to the gym, people are just sitting like on their phone. I don't even take my phone into the gym because it will distract me and I don't need it. And I think as well, you see the people like they're doing these big weights. I'm sorry, they're always men. They're doing big weights and then they hunch over to look at their phone in their rest time. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like you could be doing some movement, some stretching, something different. And then you go back into this hunch position. It's such a good time to not to open up the body. So I do think you can, but it also takes a bit of practice to get into your routine.
Supersetting, isn't it? Where you're resting one part, but then working another part.
I think superset word makes it sound like it needs to be like massive, like it's going to be, but it's just a really simple way of making the most of your time, and also making you think about like opposite, like you were already thinking about working the opposite muscles, legs, arms. And I tend to have one of those sessions should be more leg based, and one of them should be more arm based, and then you tie it in with, like, if you're doing your harder run session, then you do your arms.
Previously, when I did my workouts at home, I did split the body parts. But because what was happening, sometimes maybe I missed a session, then I'd missed a leg session. So I'm going to do this. It might be slightly longer, but they are like a whole body workout. So if I only do get down once, at least I have still worked the whole body. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. And sometimes, when you run and you've got an imbalance or weakness, your body compensates for it. So you might not be aware of it. But when you're doing a weight session, and especially if you're, like, say, doing a single, like, say, dumbbells, so each arm has to work independently, you really can spot a weakness. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think my back, my glute, my hamstring, and my knee, it's all connected. So that if I can sort that out, I'll make it a bit more comfortable when I'm running. It's so inconsistent. Some days today I didn't even notice it. But then
these are little buggers, aren't they?
But trying to do a left arm weighted lunge, it was quite painful.
Take the weight out then, Gary, and just do
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I dropped the testosterone quite quick and I was I was only using quite lightweight. But yeah, Christmas, I mentioned last week, just so much family time. And I super enjoy that because normally Esme's day is longer than mine. By the time she gets the bus to school and gets back again, I'm in the house. So yeah, it's nice just to see everybody. Saying that, she's having a sleepover with the friends, so she can't wait to get out.
How does Christmas differ with like teenagers? Because my kids are a bit younger, they're really happy to be with us. We don't have to provide a lot of entertainment. If mum and dad are like free to play cards and whatever, they love that. Is it the same with teenagers?
Well, Esme's quite good, and George too. George really likes the family group. He likes to be amongst everybody. Esme would normally take herself upstairs, but she loves playing games. So yeah, Christmas Day and Boxing Day, and especially because we're going to see lots of family, we did spend a lot of time together. But yeah, now
what's been the Christmas game of choice?
Oh wow, what's it called? Oh, is it Exploding Monkeys? It's like a card game. Oh God, I'm forgetting the name of it now, actually, but that's been quite popular. We like African Star and stuff like that. I don't know if you've played African Star.
No, these all sound very exotic. We're kind of like an Uno, Happy Families,
African Star is awesome. I think it must be Finnish. So we reminisce of nice holidays in Finland.
We've got younger, so we've got 7 to 12 age group, so it has to be a game. We're kind of like the snakes and ladders still.
Yeah. Uno's classic.
When mum's playing as well, you've got to keep it simple. Bryn plays the more complicated games, so I'm like, I can't even read the instructions, especially when they're in French. I'm like, This week with Brew with the Coaches, we talk all about injuries, when to admit that you're injured, when to rest, when to keep moving, and actually it's not when, it's always seek some professional advice. And by professional advice, we don't mean Facebook. If you are injured, we've all been there. It's rubbish to be injured, but it's part of being a runner, isn't it? So here is our chat all about injuries.
Yeah, I'm really interested in this, where this one's going to go. But Adam Brown, because I've been nursing and I've still got this. I've threatened to go and get a scan, got the doctors, and it's not happened yet. So I still have an achy left knee. But like yourself, Trish, I'm functioning with this issue, but it's definitely not getting any better. But yeah, Patreon member Adam Round has been nursing a knee injury since July. Oh my goodness, Adam. Entered into the spine race in January, but knee is getting no better. When is discretion the better part of valor? Oh my goodness.
Very good language there, Adam. You said that with real Jane Austen feeling. When is discretion the better part of valor? Well, still help us, Trish.
Knee injuries are just my life at the moment.
You've come to the right place, Adam. Here we go.
Most knee injuries, from lack of cartilage to bursitis to hairline fractures, all sorts. And generally what I've learned from knee injuries is that as long as it doesn't hurt, generally you can continue to train on it. But the moment you feel pain, you should stop and get it properly looked at and checked out. So if you've had an ongoing issue from July, and I'm not a physio or anything like that. I just happen to spend far too much time with them. But you should definitely get it checked out for sure. If you're going to go into the spine challenger, it's a tough race. It's a hard race. You want to make sure you can get through it and not get halfway in and have horrific knee injuries. I'll be going into the ARC on, not the fitness that I want, but I'll be checking my knee throughout that, because if it's going to provide issues, then I don't want to elongate that. I don't want to make it a long-term thing. So I would say you've got to look at what's this race to you. So if it's your A race, and sometimes I've done races where I've just gritted through because that was a very important race for me for very important reasons, and I wasn't going to stop, basically. So if it's an important race to you, it's your A race, and you think you can persevere and push through, then as your coach, I would be saying, okay, let's get you in the best place for that. And I would be saying, get off the knee, get on the bike, concentrate on your strength and conditioning, do stuff that's low impact, that's going to give the knee a solid break. If you've got the fitness Now, smashing your knee over the next few weeks even further is not going to help you. So I would be saying get off the knee, try and rest it as much as possible. You've probably already got the base fitness there that you need. The next few weeks isn't going to make the be all and end all of it, but what it is going to make or break is whether or not your knee can survive it, get through.
And also if you're going to do a long-term damage to your knee. Afterwards. And I think that's when like seeking physio support is really important, because the physio will be able to tell you either through scan or manipulation is like, okay, this is like you've been told, like with the cartilage, like, okay, this is how far we can push it. And with their support, you can work with making your plan. And you mentally as well. I think if you know what's going on, it must be huge that, okay, the physio has said it's okay to run with like a 2 or 3 out of 10 on the pain scale, and that's going to be okay, but pushing it any further. So I would definitely say seeking physio, like getting a diagnosis. But I guess with knees, it's really hard as well sometimes to diagnose, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've spoken to so many physios just on this knee issue alone, and I would say pretty much all of them have a different spin on.
Have they told you it's your glutes? Because that's what physios love saying. It's like, it's your weak glutes. That's
issue. It's like, there's nothing wrong with my butt, people.
I love it when people say your glutes are not fine. I'm like, do you know how strong do you know what my glutes do? I guarantee you that these butt cheeks can fire me up a mountain.
To, isn't it? I'm like, just leave it alone. It's not my glutes. But yeah, definitely. You've got. The thing is, you've got to get it. I mean, you've not said, Adam. You haven't said, Adam, how much it hurts. How does that hurt out of 10? And like Eddie said, generally most physios will say you can run on a 2 to 3. Like for me, I say if it's uncomfortable but not painful, then I can train on it. But again, you've got to manage that training, so I can't do big up and down hills at the moment because of that impact. So a coach would be helpful. Definitely see a physio if you can, to try and ascertain what it is. I would say in the meantime, though, if it is painful, get off it. Off it.
Cross train those butt cheeks into
action.
The other really careful thing is if you do have a low level niggle or something like that, is that it's not affecting the rest of your biomechanics when you're running. Obviously that sort of chain of command down through the knee, all your weight's coming down through that knee, and so you will slightly, whatever we say, like, oh, it's fine to run with 2, you will run slightly different. So don't think because we've said that it'll be like, oh, Eddie and Trish said it's actually fine. You still need to really manage that load, because you will be slightly offsetting, landing on your foot a bit differently, going through the hip a bit differently. You need to be really careful that you don't then end up with something occurring on the other side. Adam, let us know how it is, what you did, and anyone else that does have a niggle, knee or anything. The first thing to do is to rest. Treat it, iced, rest, compression, elevation, and then seek a professional opinion. And by professional opinion, we don't mean Facebook. There is no
podcast.
Or hey, look, we're qualified individuals. We're sending them to the qualified individuals.
Well, yeah, you make a good point. I notice when I'm out on the fells and climbing stuff, I'll always lead with my right knee because I know my left knee hasn't got the strength. It just feels uncomfortable. But terrible advice. I had a bad knee and I ran the Lake 100. So.
Yeah, but how bad was it? It wasn't so bad that it stopped you in your tracks. It's really tricky, isn't it?
It's because some days I will not be. I think people just think I'm completely sandbagging about this knee because other days it doesn't affect me at all.
No, but that's the problem with knees. It's like some days they can feel fine, and then one day you can go for a run. You can be like, why? Why are you so painful now? Knees love a bit of ice. So if you have got niggly knees, icing like 3 to 5 times a day just for a little while is really good as well.
But yeah, unlike myself, Adam, please get advice. I'd love to. My idea is eventually when I get around to booking a GP is to get a scan and then at least know what it is. It just could be like my cartilage is shot in my left knee, and that is that. And I've just got to live with it and manage it and kind of nurse it with painkillers. I don't know, but yeah, hopefully that helps. But yeah, definitely, if I was giving advice to somebody else, get a scan first of all, and then go from there.
One of the things I've been looking at recently, having lots of knee issues, is how, in terms of knee strengthening itself, and things like plyometrics, and lots of sort of jumping, hopping, that kind of stuff, and loading the knee retention at load appropriate. But I would just add to that. A lot of the evidence for that suggests that it makes a really big difference now. Again, physio will be able to tell you much more about that, but you know, rest isn't rest can be rust. So if you do stuff with it, keep it mobile.
Pilates and yoga and stuff like that is so good for knee and hip mobility, as well as taking us out of that forward running motion, and it's actually stretching it. The child's pose, the pigeon pose, things like that are so good. As my kids call my rusty old knees, come on, mum, get your rusty old knees. And I feel so much better when I've done some Pilates or done some weights, like actually moved through the joints. They always feel better.
Really important. Really important.
Rest is rust. I love it. Rest is rust.
Oh
and
God!
motion is lotion.
Don't tell that to Russell.
Yeah, Russell's taking that to town, isn't he?
That's why he's called Russell.
Yeah.
Trish, before we let you go, you've got to help me. Give me some spine tips.
Oh, just eat as much as you can at the checkpoints. And the other thing I would say is, are you using a handheld as opposed to?
We have to have a handheld, and I also have 2 watches and the maps.
So I would say just trust the general direction you're going on.
Yeah.
And you can get caught up going, and I lost a lot of guys actually on the last one who went off on little things. Just march in the general direction.
Yes,
and you're
stay on the line. I learned that on the recce. Yeah. I was like, do not go off, even like in the bog, even like 10 meters off the line. I would stop and like, I'm going back on the line. I'm not coming off my line because it's my safe place.
Yeah, totally. Stay on the line. That's a key one. And just try and minimize the time that you're spending at check. What are your sleep plans actually? Go on.
No sleep. I'm just going all out until
are you going to try?
I am going to go, and I'm definitely going to go as long as I can to Middleton.
Are you going to push to Middleton?
I'm going to see how far. Yeah, I am going to push quite hard. There's two minds of like, you sleep earlier and you feel better. So I'm going to take an organic approach and see how I go, and be kind to myself. And if I feel myself, the thing I'm really good at, Trish, from kids is like a really quick power nap. I can fall asleep within 2 minutes and have 10 minutes and get back up. So I am going to utilize that strategy as well. But I've never gone into multiple nights, so I'm not going to plan. Probably like, I think with like the spine, making plans only makes it like it's just going to be reactive. Yeah. And I'm going to, if I feel that I'm making wrong decisions and I'm a danger to myself, I won't push on. I'll sleep. But at the end of the day, I've got to come back alive. And I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm going to push on for the next 14 hours if my feet. So the strategy is to push hard. You know, I'm going to push myself to my limit.
Yeah.
I want to do that. I'm excited about doing that. But also I've got to make sure when I leave each checkpoint that I'm safe. And that
and the big thing is the weather as well. Like if the weather's horrific and you get a 24-hour period of horrific weather, like it really sucks it out of you. And
I just stay in the checkpoint?
When do you start checking the forecast?
I'm not going to. Why? I mean, it's going to be awful, isn't it? They're going to tell me at the checkpoints, like, you're about to go into horrendous. Yeah. I'm also slightly like, maybe a little bit blasé. I'm not blasé at all about it, but I'm also like, I'm so used to running in really cold, terrible conditions and up high. I'm quite used to being up high with the wind like blowing my pants off. So I love that. I love those. That's when I like your hood down and you're like, just me and this and my line on my watch.
I hope that helps. Sometimes it's so hard to see the wood for the trees. But yeah, like Eddie said, if you are in doubt, seek professional advice. Google and even podcasts sometimes, and not really probably the best place to diagnose yourself. But yeah, hopefully that did help. Got a different approach to our interview this week, Eddie. This show would literally not exist without your support. So this week I thought it'd be great to catch up with some of you at the 2022 Tour De Helvellyn. I was mega nervous, Eddie, and it did take me a while to get into the groove of it. But once I got going, I really enjoyed it. I have to say thanks to Aaron and Robbo. They pushed me in front of a few people. But yeah, like I say, once I got going, it was great. Thanks to everyone from NAV4 who said it was okay for me to do it. Thanks to everybody who sat down and made it all super easy. I would love to hear your feedback. Like I say, once I got in the groove, I enjoyed it. If you like hearing this kind of content and race directors want people like me rocking up with a microphone, catching up with
dodgy middle-aged men with a microphone.
Yeah, then maybe I'll do it again. I have to warn you, if you've got any young children around in earshot, then maybe you skip past this. There is a bit of colourful language.
Overexcitement, shall we say.
You know what? I prepped my friends. I was so mega nervous. I'm like, look, don't swear, don't swear, don't swear. Everybody, all my friends were in really, really good behaviour. And then we got a couple of the guests were a bit loose with their language. But yeah, it was awesome. Thanks everybody who said yes to me recording a few minutes for them. Hope you enjoy it.
We're in Askham and it's pitch black and it's a bit chilly. Yeah, it's nice to be able to register on the Friday night. Like a plonker, I thought you did your kit check too, but no, you just strap your number on your bag. Well, that's fine. Being told that it's a modified course, so the weather as you get in, say, high up sticks past and stuff like that must be a bit too bad, so they're just gonna out and back. I think it's about marathon distance too, so you know what, I'm not so bothered. I'm quite happy it's going to be a shorter day, an hour extra in bed, and about 10 miles shorter on the day. But yeah, great to be able to register. So that's it. Yeah, we're all sorted. Thanks everyone who's given up the time tonight, all the marshals. And I think the plan for me for the rest of the night is to get some grub, hopefully get some good sleep. See you in the morning. It is the morning of the race. Here we are, start of the Tour De Helvellyn. We're back in Askham. Sun's up a bit, so that is nice. We all had an extra hour in bed. If you checked social media yesterday, you'd see the pictures that the NAV4 put up, and the trail up to Grisdale Tarn looks absolutely treacherous. So I am really pleased that I'm not going up there. I don't want any accidents before Christmas. I don't think anyone would be pleased about that. But yeah, going to go in and have our bags checked, catch up with a few people, and then get going hopefully about 9 o'clock. So I'll finish about 1 or 2, I suppose. That's the plan. Have a good day out, see some friends on the trails, lots of smiles. It's going to be really busy because today's course now is just a big out and back. So yeah, there'll be all the fast runners going past us, and then we'll see them all coming back the other way. So that's going to be quite a sociable few hours out on the trails. Best of luck everybody. See you all at the finish. I am super fortunate to be joined by Karen Nash. How did it go today, Karen?
I had a good day in the end, actually.
Yeah.
I started myth that we were only doing part of it, but the forecast didn't come true, did it? It was gorgeous.
I think, yeah, if you looked at the forecast, it didn't look that great. But did you see the pictures on Facebook around the Grisdale Tarn? And
I did, and I was in the hall here yesterday when Paul came back from his recce, and he showed me a whole load of photos that had not even put on. And yeah, race spec didn't look good.
Yeah. I must admit, I was probably similar to some people when I heard it was cut short, a little bit disappointed. But then when I saw the pictures, it was like,
it's what it is, isn't it? It's a shame, yeah.
Now, I think a lot of people had spikes or micro spikes or little dubs in their shoes. What was your kit for the day?
Dobs. Didn't want the faff of putting spikes on and off, on and off, on and off. These aren't too bad on tarmac. I wouldn't have wanted to wear them any longer than we did today.
We literally left the hall, and within about 10 metres, it was like, wrong shoes. And how are you feeling now then? We've done 26 and a half miles. How are you feeling?
I'm good, actually,
Yeah.
Short and fast for me. I'd rather it was longer. And
And what time did you start? Because that's quite a hot topic.
About 8:40 something, I think.
Okay, so did you just over 5 hours or just under 5 hours?
Just over.
Very good, very
Just
good.
over. I'm happy with that.
And you've done the course multiple times?
Yes.
And
First time I've done the short.
Brilliant.
Never had it cut short before. I've had thigh deep snow.
Fantastic. And I suppose if you were to do the full course, what would be your favourite section?
Ooh, the run down from Grisdale Tarn down, not the path, down the grassy
fell
valley,
side,
all the way down. And that's what's so sad today, that the percentage of road, percentage of fell is
That would have played into some people's hands, actually.
I think it would have been fine on that valley. The path would have been shit, but sorry, the path would have been awful.
That's all right. And back again next year?
Probably.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, I've not done it every year because when I used to work, I taught, and we often disappeared as soon as the term broke up. So if it was like if we'd finished school yesterday, Friday, that was it. We'd have gone skiing. Now I haven't got that stress, so yeah, I don't have to go now.
Fantastic. And last one, if I'm come back knocking on your door Christmas Day, what would be on the Nash household table for Christmas dinner?
Oh, I don't know yet because I'm not big on turkey.
Okay.
Actually, we're not big on Christmas Day. As far as I was concerned, if we were away skiing and the weather was good, stuff having a good meal. We'll have a good meal some of the night sometime, but not going to waste a good skiing day. But one of my sons is coming home and he's veggie now, so not quite sure. Could be a good nut roast and lots of. I love veggies anyway, roast veg.
Well, that's it for me. Thanks for coming on the podcast. All the best for. Well, anything else for this year, or that's it?
No, I think that's probably. Streeto, some orienteering, but nothing big.
Cool, brilliant. Well, all the best for 2023. Take care.
See you then.
And anybody who's listened to the podcast will heard me talking about this guy quite a lot. We've done Bob Graham round together.
Yep.
All county tops twice, and going back again this year.
Here with Hobble.
First team winners. Wow, and countless of miles and feet of elevation together on the trails.
Mostly with me behind you.
But for our listeners, who are you?
I'm Neil Robinson. I'm from East Durham. And I'm the man who knocks about with Gary Thwaites, famously known as.
And how long have you been running for, Robert?
Probably since 2008, when I decided to lose all my cider weight after spending a decade in CID of eating sandwich, crisps and a chocolate bar, followed by sandwich, crisps and a chocolate bar.
That sounds like a dream.
And about 8 cans a night. So I thought I'd best get on it and lose some weight.
And how did it go today?
It was very tough. Found it. I've done it 5 times, I think, now.
Yes.
3 times full route. This is the second time, obviously, for the shortened route. But today I found it quite tough. Not the conditions, because I had the ice spikes on.
Yeah.
I just think I found it tough. Chasing a couple of 20-odd-year-old lads in the group who are clearly a little bit faster than I am.
It doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, not at all.
Highs and lows of the course today.
I always like the uphills, but I particularly like the downhill from Bordale Horse to Side Farm today because we got there before anybody else.
Yeah.
And we all did the untouched snow, really, didn't we?
Yeah.
So that was probably a good highlight. Yeah, and the fact that I think we were only passed by Rory Harris and Damien Hall on the way out back.
That's true.
Which made it a bit better. I beat it in before Paul Tini this time.
It was spectacular as well, wasn't it?
And it was. The views were really good. Place fell up magnificent today as well.
On the way back, yeah. And how are you feeling now?
Totally ready. On to my second cup of tea, and I'm almost ready for that first golden pint, which I deserve today, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we were having this debate, but do you think you'll be back next year?
Yeah, I will do, and I think I'll do it with the General. I think we'll go as a pair.
I see.
She's not here because she's walked away, but I think that she wants to do it.
Do they have like teams, like pairs?
No, but we'll have to pair up. So
very good.
We'll come out, and I think I'll enjoy the day out with Lily. So yeah.
And what's your plans 2023?
Still fancy Hayworth, but I know you don't. Mixed pair.
Can't get any better though, can you?
No, you can only win once, I suppose, can't you? All county tops. I want that mug.
Yeah.
I need to graft for
Big
the first 5 months to get the mug. Lakeland 100. And after that, I don't think we'll put anything in. I know you're doing a fast marathon. Don't know.
And what's on your Christmas list? Got any?
I want a little Snow Peak 220 titanium mug, which is lightweight. Passes all the kit checks.
Yeah, sweet.
So yeah, that's what I'm hoping for anyway.
Well, thanks for coming on, Robbo.
No worries.
Take care.
As always.
Happy Christmas and all the best for 2023.
Same to you. Thanks, guys.
Right, we're joined by another listener to the Tea and Trails podcast. I've got to be careful. Don't want to get muddled up with these podcasts. Thanks for joining us. Could you share with our listeners, who are you, where are you based, and how long have you been running?
My name's Jason Livesey. I'm based in Bingley in West Yorkshire, and I've been running all my life, but seriously since I retired from the fire service a few months ago. Yeah.
Your accent isn't West Yorkshire. Where'd you come from?
We moved up from the south, Hertfordshire, Essex way.
Oh, okay.
To go rock climbing, basically. I based myself in Yorkshire.
I'm because I studied down south. My wife's from Essex. I lived in Hertfordshire, so yeah.
Oh no,
familiar with that.
Whereabouts in Essex is your wife?
She was from Epping.
Oh, okay. I was born in Epping Hospital.
Oh, excellent. Okay, right then. How did it go today?
It was good, yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so when it changed, it's sort of like I was a bit disappointed, but once you start racing, that's it, then, isn't it? It's
I think that's it. If you are racing, then I suppose the distance is academic. It is the race of the day. Are you going to still class it as an ultra? 26 and a half today.
Oh, is it? Yeah. Is it? No way. Oh, well, yeah.
there's two schools of thought. I'm pretty relaxed. I think if it's over 26.2, it's an ultra, but I think unofficially, I think some people say 30 miles. First time you've done it?
Yeah, first time I've done it. This is my second race ever.
Second race ever?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness me! And what did you have on your feet then? Because that's been the big topic of conversation.
Newtons. That's my team, Newtons. Yeah.
And were they okay? Did they have any little spikes on them or?
No, nothing at all. No, but I'd heard the woman had been getting like screws and putting them in, like normal hardware screws and putting them in the bottom of the
I wish I'd done that.
I had a set of spikes in my bag and didn't bring them.
I think they would have been a good addition. Any nav issues? It's not really a hard course, is it?
I actually last week I came and ran this leg.
Brilliant.
So no nav issues at all. And I actually stole your Strava. I saw you'd done it on Strava, so I pretty much it was the same sort of.
So you would have went down and because at Mardale Church you have the choice of going around the back.
Yeah.
Or you can stick to the road at Howtown. So you did the road section.
Did the road section, yeah.
Oh,
and then those switchbacks just done the straight line.
And I know we didn't do it today, but had you made a decision as you come off Grisdale Tarn, you can either stick to the path or you can do the fell side, which is a bit more direct, but there's no actual path. And have you thought about that?
We'd also done that leg. We'd just walked it, and I just thought I was going to just stick to the path.
Stick to the path.
Yeah. There was some funky lines out there today. People were taking. Opened my eyes, really, being a novice.
Is that it for 2022, or you got anything else lined up?
No, that's it for 2022. The next big one for me is the Felsman.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's a big step up for me.
There's so many big races, good races to do.
When you're new to it, you're like a sponge, aren't you? And you want to do everything, and you want to put your name down for everything.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to do a race, the Tour, the Three Peaks, is it? Yeah. Three Peaks Ultra, but that got cancelled due to weather issues.
That's right. Yeah.
So so this is my second one.
And what time of year is the Felsman?
It's the last weekend in April.
All right, so you're literally going to be cracking on with training pretty.
Yeah. I'd like to get a sort of a race in between now and then.
Yeah.
So like February, March time, just to.
Well, you're spoiled for choice where you live. There's so much stuff east and west. You know, you got the hard ones on the Cleveland kind of coastline, Yorkshire, and then obviously over here you got loads of stuff.
Yeah.
If I was to come round your house this year for Christmas dinner, what would I expect? Is it turkey or no roast?
Oh, turkey every time. Yeah, turkey. I like turkey.
Yeah.
People really diss turkey, but I really
like a bit of
especially
turkey.
the brown meat.
Well, that's it from me, Jason. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Amazing.
Take care and happy Christmas to everyone at Tea and Trails.
Lovely to meet you.
Yeah, Jim. Take care. Bye.
Brilliant.
It's brilliant today. There's so many listeners from the podcast, so it's really awesome to catch up with some listeners. For our audience, though, can you share with us who are you, where are you based, and how long have you been running?
So my name's Rory Campbell and I'm based in Galashiels in the Scottish borders, and I've been running for about, I guess, maybe about 12 years or so.
So how did you go today?
Today was great. It was the unknown because I've never really ran in the lakes. Half holidayed actually years ago with friends in Pulley Bridge, and I recognised some of the trails. But I was down with a mate, Tim Darlow, who suggested it would be a good day out.
How did you have spikes on or anything?
No, and I was quite envious of quite a few people around me, clickety-clacking along.
Oh my goodness me, I was so jealous of people with spikes.
So trying to find the nice bits at the side, But it was much easier on the way back, and we had that. Of course, it was an out and back route today, so we didn't do the full Helvellyn circuit, unfortunately. But
how are you about that? I think initially a lot of people were a bit disappointed, but then when they're out on the course, I think it was the right course.
Disappointed because you've got that mileage, you've got a distance in your head, you've got that. You're out for the full day, and the effort as well that you're going to be putting in, and then you've got to readjust a little bit. But it is.
I found I've done this race before, not in that kind of conditions underfoot, and I thought I was mentally exhausted today.
Yeah.
Really conscious about where I was planting my
Looking
foot.
down, yeah.
Bits of my body aching that wouldn't normally ache because of all the slipping and sliding. Yeah, awesome. And it's not the trickiest of courses to nav, but did you have any issues?
Well, luckily, like I said, I was down with my mate Tim, and he's just a superior nav guy. I've done a few events with him, and it's like, what do you want me to hold?
We all need a Tim. My goodness,
you're making decisions. What can I do to help? So he basically made all the right choices and how together. So
how did you? There's a choice, isn't there, with when you get to Martindale Church, you either go around the back or you drop down onto the road. Can you run up the zigzaggy path? Did you?
That's what we did. Yeah,
that one. I remember when we came back, somebody went as if they're going to go around the back of the church, and we went on the road, and they got to the trail ahead of us. So I don't know, horses for courses.
Yeah.
Highs and lows.
Highs was quite literally the high, getting up, making the last big climb, and the turnaround, and I think there's something about that, just knowing that you're heading for home, and then you can just sort of loosen off a little bit, put the map away.
I love counting when the miles get to single digits. I love clocking them down after that.
Okay. The lows, I suppose, for me, was immediately after that turnaround, coming the first descent after that, and just something in my silly thing. It's just silly things that get you. And one of my laces felt a bit tight. And digging into my foot. And it's like, what is happening? So a bit of bruising or something.
We're going to do the quick five. You're the first to have the quick five. Right, first one. Do you have a tattoo?
I do. Yeah. I'll show you, but that doesn't work on now.
I see, all right. Yeah, quite symbolic. Mean anything?
It's a Pictish thing, and it's got a triskel in it, which is a symbol that my wife and I used for our wedding.
Oh, awesome. That's really good. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
It's going to be something musical. I'm a musician, so, if I could just I'd love to play the lead guitar, really well at the drop of a hat. So.
Well, this goes seamlessly into the next question. Your go-to, if you were to do karaoke, what would be your go-to karaoke song?
David Lee Roth.
Which one?
That's Life, his cover of That's Life.
I was just listening to David Lee Roth on the way over, actually. I think we're tuned into Rock FM or whatever it was, Living in Paradise, I think that's what it was. This is quite a deep question. Do you believe in second chances?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Yeah, we all deserve a second chance.
Yeah.
And do you make a New Year's resolution?
Not as such, but I do have a few decisions to make. So New Year's would probably be a good time to do that.
And plans for 2023 race-wise? Anything coming up?
I didn't get into the West Highland Way, so that's one of the big decisions I need to make. I'm thinking, should I go for something 100 miles or just go all out and do the race across Scotland?
Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. You take care, and all the best for everybody at Tea and Trails.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rory. Who are you, where are you based, and how long have you been running?
Okay, so my name's Mark Smith. I'm based in Tynemouth in the northeast, and I've been fell running about 22 years, something like that.
I know today's a kind of mix of trails and fells. Would you hit the roads too, or?
I used to, yeah. I would say I'm a fell runner, but I'm doing a spine in a month's time, so this is preparation for that. So today was about do this at spine pace.
Oh, you're the second person I've spoke to today who's doing the spine.
All right.
I'm really curious how many people actually are allowed to enter that race. I imagine it's quite a small field, but I seem to be talking to lots of people who are doing the spine. Awesome.
Yeah, well, the coach said, he wants me to finish fresh.
Yeah.
So it was really hard walking, and when people were running away from you, that's the way it is, you know.
Being disciplined today.
I'm really pleased.
Put you in good stead for later. And how are you feeling? Yeah, you know.
Fine, yeah. I mean, I thought spine pace would be 7 hours for this, and that's 6 and a bit. So just under 6.5, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I feel all right. I feel like I wasn't desperate to finish because it wasn't a race. It was just nice to take it in. I mean, the underfoot conditions were amazing. Yeah. So I had my yak tracks on each side a mile. So I stepped out there and fell over. So I thought, and it made a world of difference.
I was so jealous, like literally immediately. I'm the same. I stepped out. One of the guys in the group had spikes, and he still had to work hard. It was still a hard day. Oh, yeah. But yeah, he wasn't slipping and sliding all over the place.
It made a massive difference.
Have you done it before this year?
No, not this one. Done most lakes races, but never this. So I'm a bit gutted it was short, but totally understand why. So.
Apart from the spine, anything else for 2023?
Well, I'm 50 in February, so I might do the Just Nailer, I'm not sure. See how we go. See how my wife lets me train. Yeah.
Your favourite type of takeaway?
Indeed.
Do you have a favourite dish?
Chicken tikka danzak.
Oh, sounds lovely. Who do you, if you flipped up your phone now, who would be the person you text the most?
Oh, probably my mate Kate, who I do a lot of my runs with. She's probably not my wife because she barely looks at her phone. So.
Favourite movie genre?
80s bilge.
Trying to think of a movie there. Then I'm trying to.
Breakfast Club.
Yeah, Breakfast Club classic. Yeah.
They're all terrible.
First Bueller. I know where you live now, but is that where you grew up?
No, I grew up in Nottingham. I married a Geordie.
Okay, would your 12-year-old self think you are cool?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Excellent. Well, that's it for me. Oh. Thanks for your time.
No worries.
Merry Christmas. All the best for the spine. Wow, I'm really blown away by how many people are doing the spine race. Do you have a time aspiration?
Well, I did the summer one in just over 5 days.
Yeah.
And so to be within 6 would be good. But to be honest, it really depends on so many variables that I don't want to overthink that. I just want to finish.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.
Well done today, and best of luck for 2023.
Yeah, on to you.
Right, big apologies, Paul, for grabbing you just as about to leave the building. Yeah, we're super lucky to be joined by Paul Teeny. How did it go today, Paul?
Well, difficult day. I kind of wish I brought spikes with me or some sort of grip anyway. So I ended up running along a verge for most of the race, trying to avoid the ice. But it was still nice. They could have cancelled the race and we'd have had no run at all, you know. Yeah. So it was great that he kept.
Yeah. When did you find out? When did you get the text? Or was that last night, the same as everybody else?
Yeah.
I think I don't know if you're the same, but I think a few people are a little bit disappointed. But when they're out on the course, it was like, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah, in the end, it was, icy everywhere. So changing the course for ice didn't make much of a difference, but at least it was shorter. Yeah. I think if I knew just how bad it was, I'd have packed some spike.
You've done it quite a few times. How many times have you done this race?
3 maybe, 3 or 4, maybe 3 anyway, definitely 3.
And if you were to do the full course, is there a particular part of it that you're fond of?
Yeah, actually, the place where we turned around there, Swartbeck, from there on is really, really nice, down to Swirl's car park. And then it gets a bit hard going, running along the fire road there in the woods. But that section's lovely.
I loved it, actually, when you turned back and you came back toward Glenridden, and just the view and the sun and the colours on the
it was lovely. It's a shame because it felt like there was a lot of road in the race, but
some people would have loved it.
Yeah. Really, there wasn't that much more than usual because we didn't have the fire road through the woods on Thurlemere side of Helvellyn, so which feels like road anyway, So
and is that it for 2022? Anything else? Any other races?
No, that's it. No.
Well, 2023. I know it's quite a big question, but any loose plans for next year?
I might do Northern Traverse maybe in April, and then something long during the summer. I haven't decided yet, but I'd like to go back to Italy and do Tour de Glacier again.
We just spoke to Nicky Spinks. Week. Yeah. It was really good to hear about that adventure. Yeah. Right, quick 5, and then I'll let you go.
Right.
Any Netflix recommendations?
Not Harry and Meghan anyway. Nothing against them. I mean, they seem like lovely people, but I did actually watch 20 minutes of it because I listened to a lot of stuff on the radio about it. fucking shit. Sorry.
That's I told all my friends not to swear, and then two guests
Sorry,
to one. But
sorry.
that's fine. Signature dish. If I was going to come to your house, what would
Tradition. Oh, jeez.
would you rustle up?
Nothing terribly fancy, to be honest. I make tacos there sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, they're not bad.
What was your nutrition today? I see a pack of Morton gels there. Is that you?
Lots. Six Martin gels and 5 precision hydration chews.
You got a bacon sandwich if you eat meat, or a veggie bacon sandwich, but you've got ketchup, brown sauce, or no sauce.
Oh, well, it would be a bacon sandwich, but I like brown sauce. But on a bacon sandwich, it'd be probably ketchup.
Well, that's it for me. Hopefully,
Right.
yeah, 4 minutes.
Oh, lovely, fair play.
You take care.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Did you get on all right today? Did you?
Yeah, just in the 5 hours. So
Oh, nice.
I was pleased with that. Yeah.
Stuff.
Cheers. Take care. Oh, thanks for joining us today, Angela. Could you share with our listeners who are you, where are you based, and how long have you been running?
I'm Angela. I'm based in Wigan, and I've pretty much been running as long as I can remember, I think. I've got horrible memories of cross country at school when your thighs used to burn red in the cold. I don't think I was particularly good at it. And then kind of like later on, like A-levels, going to I played basketball and rowed at university. So then running became a fitness thing.
Yeah.
Ran half marathons. I've run half marathons in Australia, Singapore, Peru.
Oh, wow.
All like it's quite exotic places, and then came back to Wigan, which is where I am now, and only started trail running after my second child when I was 40. So I only started kind of trail and ultra distance after I turned 40.
2022 Tour De Helvellyn. How did it go?
I wasn't sure if I should even actually start it. I've had a bit of a funny old year. Obviously met you at the Lakeland 100, DNF'd at 68 miles, which is the furthest ever gone. So I was actually quite happy with that. But then since then, my training had kind of petered off, a few niggles. Been working on some biomechanics through November. By the time it's coming around, I thought, well, I'm just going to turn up because the cutoffs are generous enough that a 3 mile an hour pace, you can kind of jog it, hike it. So that was my goal. My goal was 3 mile per hour pace, and just to get round really. So I wasn't that devastated when they said it was shortened. I think 27 miles was probably about right because I did do it in 2019, the full, when I was much fitter. I did it in 2019 in 11 hours, but I remember that last slog back up to Askham being really tired on that hill.
It's not a very steep hill, but it seems to go on for, oh goodness me, it could be like 4 miles, isn't it? Just a slow drag up.
Yeah, but what I do think is that you would appreciate it more doing the Lakeland 50 again, knowing you don't realise the downhill till you actually have been up it.
True. And how are you recovering? I remember after Lakeland 100, you shared some pictures of your feet, and they weren't looking too clever.
No, oh god, I think my toe nearly went viral with some one of the medical. I think the medics were from one of the universities, and she took a picture of it for her nasty foot file that she shared with the students. No, my feet were fine. Trainer's choice was much better, I'd say, than 100. In fact, my biggest injury is actually my arm, because I thought I would sneak off to the toilets in the Glenridding car park and didn't see the biggest patch of ice.
Oh no.
And went flying, but managed to catch onto the rail and I think kind of wrenched my arm.
But apart from that, did you manage to stay on your feet?
Yeah, so there was some real comedy slides where my feet just kind of just basically slid, and I ended up in kind of like a plank position on the floor. That was that first hill out of Askham, where the road was, there was just black ice everywhere, wasn't there? I was carrying spikes, so I put the micro spikes on, but when I went to put the right foot on, it broke. So the chains on the heel of the right one, but I think more important that they were secure on the toe, on the forefoot. So I took them off on the way back. Once I got to the youth hostel at coming off, the Helvellyn Hill, I took them off there. I think I popped them on just very briefly to come off Bordale Hawes, but then I kept them off because actually running on those spikes, it's quite uncomfortable on the feet. That was the first time I'd used them.
So footwear, we mentioned spikes, but we mean you had a few chats about footwear. What did you go for in the end?
Oh, I was. There was a whole army of us that were Team VJ XTRM2. There was. They were, I don't know if you saw people in them. They're quite distinctive. They look quite festive. They were red and white.
Yeah. That's a great shoe.
Could have perhaps done with a bit more cushion. That combined with the spikes, I found them a bit. The base of my feet were a little bit sore. I was glad to get the spikes off, but they're pretty grippy.
That's interesting. One of our team wasn't a team, one of our group, he had Envy on, which is the same kind of butyl rubber composite on the soles, and he seemed to move over the ice without much problems.
Yeah.
I wonder if that kind of funny rubber that the VJ and the Envy have worked better on the ice. That is really.
What did you go for?
What did I had on some Solomon boots, which they didn't have some good chemical formula for their rubber soles. They slippery slide. They're great. They stay on the boots stay on the feet well. I think on a dry fell or trail they'd be awesome, but not on that. Not on that.
I did see a guy who had it looked like he had road shoes on. They didn't look like he had shorts on, and it's like I don't know how he was upright. I really don't know how he stayed up.
I was puzzled when I saw people wearing shorts because you had to carry tights. And me being a bit obsessive about how much weight I'm carrying in my pack, I think, well, if I've got to take the tights, I'm going to put them on. I'm not going to carry them in my backpack. And it was pretty chilly it was. You sent in a question over on Patreon for our Ask the Coaches, and it was, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was based on, can you eat pork pies instead of gels?
I'd seen a post that somebody had put on Instagram that basically said, if you're doing kind of endurance sport, I guess like distance where you're operating at a lower intensity, that then actually becomes less important about the grams of carbohydrate, more about calories. So I don't really know the science behind it. So I didn't take any gels. What did I take? Oh, I discovered Tunnocks mini caramel logs. So they're like little, Eddie needs to get some for the spine because they didn't freeze. Sometimes caramel stuff, for some reason, they didn't go hard, but they were good. Kendall mint cake.
Classic.
And then when I was coming second time back through Glenridding, I called into... I don't know if this is permitted, but anyway, I called into the shop and got a sausage roll.
Oh, you had a much more pleasant day than me.
Yeah, in fact, somebody did say to me, like some local said, aren't you supposed to be running? I was like walking along eating a sausage roll. I'm having a great day.
That is a good tip about the caramel, the Tunnocks. Favourite part of the course? You've done it before, and assuming, you can answer as if, I suppose, you've done the full course. Have you got any memories of other sections of the course that maybe didn't do at the weekend that you're fond of?
I think a few people were disappointed they didn't see Santa on Raised Beck. It's so random, isn't it? You're slogging your way up that path to Grisdale Tarn, and there's Santa with his camera taking the race pictures, but apparently he was safely tucked up at home. I'm not hugely keen on very steep descents, so I wasn't too sad to be missing out on that Sticks Pass descent.
Yeah, you and me both, actually.
But I do like that climb up to Racebeck. But I also like Bowdale Horse, I think is quite stunning. When we were on our way out and you could just see like the snow on the tops, and you kind of gradually work your way up.
Do you think you'll be back in 2023?
Definitely.
Hey.
I think it's such a great kind of like build up to Christmas. My goal is to have all my Christmas shopping done so that I can do that race and then put my feet up.
I saw that you stayed in I can't remember the name of the pub or the hotel. Was that always the plan? Were you on the village hall? Then you thought, no, I want a bit of luxury?
2019, I slept on the floor in the village hall, and I did get upgraded. Don't know if those in the know, there is like a little back room. No, I don't know. Last minute, I just decided to treat myself to like a bit of luxury. I wasn't sure I'd get accommodation in the village so close to it. But so I stayed Friday, Saturday, hijacked the NAV4 Christmas party on the Saturday night.
Awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Awesome. What does 2023 look like for you, Angela?
Oh, it's all about the Lakeland 100.
Yeah.
I'm going to finish it. I am going to finish it. And so that's in July, isn't it? And then in June, I'm doing the Cong Ultra was the first time they did it last year in its new format. So it was the Kong 10 Peaks. Now it's the Kong Ultra, which is a different route. And it's kind of like a mini, I'd say it's like a mini anti-clockwise Bob Graham. Like a lot of the sections are the same. And the bonuses, well, it's not a bonus at the time because you go from like the bottom of Blacksail Pass where the youth hostel is all the way up to Pillar, then you back down to Wasdale, and then you're all the way up to Scarfell Pike. So there's like nearly 5,000 metres of climb. But when you come to the 100, then it seems like, oh, I've only got to go up to the top of Blacksail Pass. That, like, mentally, that it does help because the climbs just seem so much shorter.
Well, you spot on. Yeah, I remember after doing all the Bob Graham stuff and even like doing recce's and supporting people's bobs, when you do the Leighton 100 and you just do the passes, it just reduces the climbing time by so much. I'm curious, are you, I'm not too sure if you were coached for the Leighton 100 this year, or are you currently coached and you being coached going forward for the 2023 100?
Because I keep getting injured, I've been in and out with coaches. So it was with Mags May at Mountain Strong. She did a fantastic job with me at getting me back from injury last year. And no, at the moment, I'm not just trying to weigh up the options. Might go like yourself, freestyle.
I just keep asking. Oh, this asking the coaches is great for me because I just get all these tips from. I've got 3 coaches.
Oh, but there's the Mark Lathwaite is doing they've got a 100 kind of coaching plan on the Facebook group. So obviously it's designed just for the Lakeland event.
I should check it out, actually, just to make sure I'm kind of going in the right direction. That's all my Tour De Helvellyn questions, but we have got the quick 5 if you'd like to take the quick 5 questions. Number 1, this could be anywhere in the world, actually, but a bucket list race.
I would quite like to go and do the Ultra Tour Monte Rosa.
Oh, Lizzie Hawker's race. Yeah, that looks magical. I think also
probably is the stage race where you get to stay over.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they do 2 formats, don't they? I think the people who do the big race are quite jealous of all the stage race people having such a great time at the end of the day. Cool. Guilty Netflix pleasure. Anything that you're watching on there at the moment?
I like all the really cheesy Christmas rom-coms that are on there. My husband hates it, but that's my guilty pleasure.
Anyone famous you'd like to share some miles with?
Oh, I'm going to say you and Eddie.
Hey,
you and Eddie.
Brilliant. Favorite junk food?
Favorite junk food? Oh, chocolate. I am a chocoholic. Cadbury's Dairy Milk.
Oh yeah, classic. I love it. Do you make a New Year's resolution?
Always. It's always the same. Get fit, lose weight, run faster.
Yeah. Well, that's a great place to end it. Brilliant. Thanks, Angela. Thanks for your time.
Well done, Gary. It's hard to put yourself out there. I mean, if you gave me a microphone, I'd be like, "Who? I'll take requests. Who wants a song?"
It was tricky, you know. I think I've resisted it in the past. I think it has been suggested that we maybe do this kind of thing, and that fills me with horror. I didn't even, when I got married, I didn't make a speech at my own wedding. I'm not comfortable in public spaces. That is not a strong point for me. So, I just thought sometimes you got to face your fears and do it. And it was okay. It was quite nice. To stand up in front of the room and talk, another thing altogether. But individuals, and
time before we take over the national running show.
Oh goodness me! I think I'd stand behind you if that was ever an opportunity. I'll hide.
You don't need to worry, Gary. I'm quite happy. Centre stage, a glittery outfit, and a backing track.
I made a mistake last week, Eddie, when I went rogue, didn't I? I did my own Tales from the Trails.
You went totally rogue. I loved it, though.
Yeah, I give Glenn Davies a shout out for his Worcestershire Way FKT, and I shortchanged him. Said he'd done 50k, I think, instead of 100k.
Was he raging? Was your inbox flooded with?
He slid into my DMs.
Sorry, Glenn. If I'd been in charge of that, wouldn't have happened.
No, but yeah, credit where credit's due, Glenn. 100k, well done. And Omar, a friend of mine from the Northeast Marathon Club, he completed his 100th marathon, and the marathon club's awesome. And you can use this if you want to do a long run, for example, but you fancy a bit of company. They're so low key, no pressure. And I think these winter wonder runs, they don't have a distance, they have a time limit. So you can do as much as you want, for example, in 6 hours. So you could run an ultra if you felt inclined, or you could just stop at a half or a full marathon.
Because they're laps, they're nearly always laps, aren't they?
Yeah, they love to do big, wonderful courses, but when you've only got a handful of volunteers, you just need laps for, say, drink station and stuff like that. But yeah, and Omar, anyone who's shared some miles with Omar, he is such a positive guy, a breath of fresh air. You will come away from that experience a better person, actually. Yeah, so well done, Omar. Over on Strava, my goodness me, we checked out Strava Club out because, yeah, Tales from the Trails is supposed to be you guys getting in touch with yours or friends of yours, Tales from the Trails. But yeah, definitely email in with that. But for the moment, while I'm trying to fill this slot, I've been looking over on Strava, and yeah, you're crushing it. Deepak Bisht, he's run 95 miles over Christmas. I just think that's awesome. Rob Brooks was on my Bob Graham round, and he was on Ali Bailey's Bob Graham round, and we basically Ali Bailey ditched both Rob and I. But yeah, I'm really curious what Rob's training for, because to do over 16 hours of running.
Spiner or Arca.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, he loves a big event, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at either one of those. But yeah, look who's Queen of the Mountains there, propping up top of the charts, 12,272 feet. Our very own
much, is it?
Edwina.
Just a low climbing week for me.
You've been waiting all your life for that moment to be top of the Strava Club. But yeah, awesome. Well done, everybody. And if you have a tale from the trails, email in at hello@teaandtrails.com and share with us. It could be your tales or friends' tales, a positive experience, a random act of kindness, anything goes. Just share with us your tales. Fragile time, isn't it, with the taper? Is it something like, is it 3 weeks for adaptation? So you really don't want to be doing too
it's
much.
Nothing. It's all now about dialing it in, doing stuff that makes you feel good rather than stuff that adding to the bucket instead of taking it away. So though I've still got 2 longer spine, there's the proper spine pace, what I would call, is so low impact. It's so easy that actually 4 hours is really, and I'm really concentrating on taking those so easily and just focusing on the pack, the kit, the nutrition, keeping that nutrition going in. So though it sounds like a lot, it's not. You're hiking a lot, so it's it sounds a lot, but it's not. So I'm going to spend, still just getting, as any parent knows, especially the mum, just the admin, I'm going away for 10 days. So it's a lot of house organization. So I've started doing that. A lot of work organization, because I was going to be off my computer for the week that I'm running. And then the week after, I want to have my clients all happy for basically January, because though I'll check in the week after the spine, my brain is going to be low maintenance.
That's so much admin.
So I'm just trying to get on top of that, so that being kind to myself. But it's all part of it, isn't it? Because I'll know then when I'm out on the week on the spine, I can destroy myself, because I know the next week I just have to watch Virgin Rivers on Netflix and make sure the kids get to school. That's all I have to do. But I'm going to spend my time. The next few days is going to be about, I want to sort out my drop bag. I've sort of in my head worked out what I want in my drop bag. but I'm going to start laying it out. Like, oh, but it kills me. I don't want to do it because it means it's coming. I'm putting it off because I'm like, when you start that laying out kit that you're not going to wear again till the race.
Wow, yeah.
It feels sick. It makes me feel sick. But I got to do it because if I need anything extra, now is the time. I've got to put in a couple of fuel orders to make sure that I've got enough calories for each of those drop bags. And I've got to start just working out. I'm going to having a little laminated card for about every 50K, I reckon.
Okay.
It'll depend on each part, especially the first half up to Middleton. After Middleton, because I know the course, I think I can break it down a bit more in my head. And also I'm not going to, when you get in no laminated card is going to get me to the finish. But for the first bit, just mentally to help me focus without racing too much and going too fast, I really want to work out okay, which bit am I going to next? Where's my next water stop? And then pretty much after Middleton, it's going to be if someone appears to help me. If it's a hallucination, I'm not going to know if they're real or not. That's
Are you going to do Damien Hawley scribbled something on his arm. There's some kind of mantra. Have you thought about stuff like that?
I'm not going to see my arm because it's going to be under 400.
No, you know what I mean. Is there anything you can?
I was going to get the kids to write something on my trainers with their marker pens, either their names or something. Then I was like, will that annoy me? Looking at my kids, so I'll be like, oh, you really made a mess of that one, haven't you? You spelt that wrong. So I might do that. I might have some pictures to have that I might pull out at a weak moment. I'm not sure what I'll do. I don't think I need much motivation from them because they've already said, if you don't finish, don't come home.
Don't come on. I wonder also if there's any people training for the spine who, when I did the Lake 100 training, I'd walk the bits that I physically couldn't run, but fundamentally, I would be training like a runner. And obviously, the advice is for such a race like the spine, you incorporate a lot of walking with your training. I wonder if anybody is still kind of training like a runner.
I've seen it, Gary. And that's one of my biggest worries. That isn't a worry, and I won't let it be a worry. I've actually turned myself from a runner to a hiker. I went for a run with Bryn, and I was like, I've not run up a hill for so long. I kind of not very good at a continuous run anymore. And I had a bit of a wobble, and he's like, no, but that's, you've trained yourself you have had to, morph into something different. But I've seen people that have just run, that haven't done a lot of work with the pack. And as we've said before with Brew with the coaches, there's no right or wrong way, but I've done it this way. I've done a lot, mainly because of where I live as well. I can go off hiking hills, and the terrain is much easier to hike with the pack and get some good strength work in than if you're sort of training in London or Flatland where walking around with the pack might be a bit soul destroying, because you've got to enjoy the training too, haven't you? But
come race day, I know anecdotally for me, when I watched Dougie's Innes march off into the distance and I was trying to run it, it was quite demoralizing. So
we'll see if Eddie's 8 hours behind everybody at the first day.
No, you won't.
Still walking. So I've got to commit to a bit of admin, even though it fills me. We haven't got the GPX files yet, and that always takes me ages, is remembering how I upload files onto my watch and onto my handheld. I also need to work out my Garmin how to make it as least battery using as possible.
Yeah. It's very important.
I might put a shout out on Facebook and get somebody to send me some full through instructions. I need to just be able to, as I said before, I'm going to wear 2 watches, one with just the GPX on the line and one with time of the day. And so I need to just, I need to sit down. But you need some headspace, you need some time. And over Christmas with the kids hasn't been the time to try and do all that. Nope. So probably I should ask the kids to do it for me, because they'd be like, they'd
nailed it.
Like, Mum, we can sort that out for you, no problem. I'll set that up.
I do know with the Garmin with the screen that you have visible, it needs to do as little as possible. But if you have the map on 24/7, that'll just burn your batteries.
It's going to burn my battery, so I just need to turn everything else off. I have turned everything else off, I think now. Just need to, so it's got no Bluetooth, it's got no hop.
No steps.
I don't think there's anything else. Say again? No steps.
Yeah, no steps.
No steps. Okay. Turn it all off. Okay, we might actually do
Turn
it.
the backlight off too.
Oh, I need the backlight because obviously I'm in the dark.
Well, sorry, there's a little mine comes on when I twist the wrist.
Yeah, I do need that. But
Well, do it so you press the button.
I don't really, do I? Okay, Gary, we're going to need a whole podcast section on this.
I'll sort
Stuff
it out.
like that, little stuff like that I need to actually spend some time sorting out. And I hadn't thought of that. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. I can't do it. Right. What about you? What's it looking like?
Well, I do, again, harken back to when I was more on the roads. I would do a pre-marathon.
Yes, I love the pre-marathon build.
Yeah, and it was about 4 weeks long, and I think it was just about 4 runs a week, but I'll probably run more than that because Rex. And it was just things like minutes. I think one of them's, say, 10 minutes at half marathon pace. There's quite a big session, 5 times 5 minutes, but it's got a good 3 minutes recovery.
And it's not super hard. I give that to a lot of athletes this time of year. It's like just a steady, remind the body it can move a little bit faster, but it's quite enjoyable because it's comfortable. It's not like... Well,
I can get my head around minutes. Minutes fine, but the 5 times 5 minutes is a bit. But at 10 minutes at half marathon pace, on paper, that is just like, that's a doddle.
Oh, but I ran the half marathon pace session the other day on the treadmill. I was like, oh my God.
But I think that's it. I probably similar to yourself, where I've done so much time on the hills, the thought of anything fast is very alien and very scary. And I know when I'm running, I'm not running anything like even my Valencia was at 3 hours and 2 seconds Valencia time.
That's why the pre-build is good, because there's no focus on pace or it's all about just... And you can be kind to yourself then, can't you? Because you don't even need to look at the pace. Just go all on the feels. Good feels for a few weeks.
Just got to wake that body up, I think, again. It's been so cozy.
You're going to, and then how are you going to fit in your gym work with all of this? I'm worried there's going to be some tired...
hopefully 2 or 3 sessions down the gym. There's like funny New Year's opening time, so I don't think they're doing any classes at the moment because there's no enormously hard workouts. I'm pretty relaxed with.
You'll be okay. Yeah.
I'm not feeling.
Build. I always feel better. Like I used to run down to the gym, do my gym session, and run back up the hill.
Yeah.
And I always felt quite good running back as long as I'd fueled. Run back up the hill, and there is some evidence that weight bearing will promote the muscles to get stronger. But I was always quite careful to make sure that was quite easy, because I was a bit nervous that if muscles were tired, you could compensate. Thank you again for listening to our twittering, to everyone who follows the show on Facebook, on Instagram, our Strava Club, and over on Patreon too. Let's all end 2022 with gratitude. Thank you for all the miles we've been able to run, all the miles we've been able to share. Thanks to every one of you for listening to our podcast. We really love being part of this trail running family. Gary's experienced it, and I'm super excited to come over and hopefully meet some podcast listeners out on the Pennine Way. I will try to acknowledge.
You'll love it.
I will love it. And if I don't, slap me around the face. Thanks to our families too, who have supported us. Now, at the moment, my husband is off doing the kid childcare and collection of the ski slopes, and he does nothing. And he also listens. He listens, and then he's like, "I like that bit. Oh, that was good." Or you said that about me. Oops, sorry. So apologies too. Love and apologies. Hope you all have a great week. Run well, run wise, refuel with tea and maybe a little mince pie or Christmas cake. I got to stop eating so much Christmas cake because I've actually got sore gums from the dried fruit. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast.
I've got to echo what Eddie said. I get pretty much zero grief from my family at home for doing everything that I do. So big thank you to Lisa and the kids, and also being part of this community. It's been an awesome 2022. So thanks everybody. And I hope Father Christmas was kind to you. I'm sure none of you are on the naughty list. Run well, run wise, and all the best for 2023. From everyone at Tea and Trails, my name's Gary Thwaites.
I'm Eddie Sutton.
and Happy New Year.
That took us 400 takes.